What's up? Happy Monday. And I should say Monday so that everyone knows what day it is because we're in that weird gray lull between Christmas and New Year's. No one knows what day it is. Everyone's still bloated. Everyone's probably still hungover or still drinking. Hopefully, everyone's still with family and everyone had a fantastic holiday weekend. Whatever holiday you celebrate, hopefully, you enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed myself. Kids enjoyed themselves. Santa definitely came in strong, came in clutch for the kids. Kel, how was your holiday?
Had a great time. Didn't really do too much on the present front because I'm not a present. I'm not a gift giver. Megan, it's not one of my five love languages. So I like to do things for people. So I got some work done on my brother's house. Like I told my mom, find a place you want to go on vacation. We took my dad deep sea fishing. So it's been like one of those things like that's what I like to do. But I do enjoy watching the little kids just absolutely tear through some wrapping paper because it's really funny.
I think that's a great gift to give once you get older is like things around the house or like now that my son's getting older, obviously he had one big wish. He wanted a new PlayStation. We did that, but well, Santa did that. And then, there's the vacations and the whether it be not materialistic stuff. I think those are just the better gifts to go along with.
Well, think about how much shit you've gotten over the years from like the random aunt that you're like, why do I need this? I don't need anything. So the idea was if I don't buy you anything, maybe you won't buy me anything.
Yeah. Well, so for future, if we continue to do the show forever, for future, I'll need some work on my gutters, or I'll let you
Not
know.
exactly that. He wanted his house repainted, so I paid a guy to go over and paint his house. It was not
Oh, not
with
you. It
gutters.
wasn't you out there on the ladder and doing it for you yourself. So we obviously had some football this weekend too, along with the holiday weekend. Unfortunately, the Cardinals fell quite a bit short just at the end there to get us that money line, but kept everybody's heads warm with the beanies. The promo is now 10-6 on the year, still plus money. We're still rolling. You had the Titans pull off a win. You had the Packers not covering. They left their asshole wide open for that back door. And Baker Mayfield, the Browns got in it, no pun intended. What are some of the bigger takeaways that you saw from the weekend? I mean, obviously we had some big upsets, but
we did, and you can tell that a couple of teams may or may not have quit. Seattle looks like one of those teams. Look, I had a friend tell me you got to take the Bears +7, and it was 6.5, and I was like, ugh, do I really have to do this? Of course, I didn't have a single dollar on the money line. But you look, those are teams that you have to kind of start to look for weeks 15, 16, 17, and now we're even have week 18 this year. So keep an eye on who's quit, who's looking for that next big contract, who's kind of moving on from their team, which coaches are going to get fired. With the Giants saying that Joe Judge is going to get to keep his job, I was like, okay, cool. Maybe they'll make a game out of it with the Eagles. I had the under 3-3 at half. Dead under game. Felt super good. Didn't even turn back to it. And then it was, I believe, 31 unanswered by the Eagles. So good times in those situations. But look, don't read into too much of the drama, but know that there are some teams that just seem like things don't really matter versus teams like the Bills that had a must-win situation. Can you quantify that must-win? Maybe, maybe not, but look at it as far as playoff position and things going forward. For the Packers, they didn't care about covering. They just needed to win.
And since we didn't have a show last week, and it was not the fault of my computer or my Wi-Fi down here in the swamps, the Bills were your best bet last week, I do believe.
The Bills were my best bet, so doing really well on best bets this year, 11-4 on the season. If I just played those, life would be really good. I try to get a little crazy. The NFL is hard, Megan. The NFL is the toughest sport to beat, and to be able to do it over the course of a lifetime is really hard. Last year I had a great NFL season. This year, just kind of hanging around that low 50%, which is not where I want to be, but if you're following along, just bet my best bets. Everything else, I should just not even try. I should just give out one best NFL bet a week. That's all I've done in years past. It would just make way more sense.
So my teasers have done really well all year besides for last week. How did you get yourself, because I know we had the same teaser with the fucking Ravens and the Bills. Obviously the Bills, no problem. But did you end up getting yourself out of that teaser? Like, did you go head in any type of way?
No, I wasn't smart enough to do so, Megan.
I didn't either. I was so mad at myself. I knew that, like, at that point, I was like, you know what? I guess I'm just gonna leave it up to baby Jesus and see what happens.
It's just hard, right? You have when you have information like that constantly flowing in, and I actually got so agreed to the fact that I was texting Ariel Epstein, and I said, hey, is there any shot that Lamar plays this week? Like, I planned for Huntley, no problem. Give me the 8.5 in a divisional game. I can handle that. And she goes, actually, I wouldn't be shocked. So then there I am. I think it was like Thursday or Friday. She and I were texting about that. I'm like, okay, then, and I'm going to get Lamar. Just let it ride. By Saturday, we knew that wasn't the case, but the line was so far gone Saturday and Sunday that it was just like, okay, you're stuck with a terrible number. Don't add fuel to the fire, because the last thing you want to do is rush to bet the other side, and now you could actually middle yourself. So you don't want to do that either. Unfortunately, that was the only losers of my teasers. I ended up teasing the Packers, had the Colts, had a bunch of different teasers going on. Ravens crushed it, because what can you do? That's kind of the NFL world we're living in now.
Yeah, the only bet that I was for sure like all in on was, well, the Titans. I really liked that line at 4 when I got it before AJ Brown was like ruled to play. But then the Bucks, man, I knew Tom Brady. It looked a little shaky at first, but I knew it. Well, again, it wasn't past his bedtime this week. He was coming off of a loss where he literally did nothing in a game. I was very confident in my -11, and they went out there and beat the shit out of the Panthers. And they tried some trickery playing the dual quarterback system there for a minute with both Darnold and Cam. But I think this was what happened anyway. But no, it didn't.
Those double-digit divisional favorites, Megan, have just been crushing. We saw it again. Dallas won. Tampa Bay won. Eagles won. They just do really, really well. Obviously, they're also skewed towards the under. But this week I picked wrong. I should have just laid the chalk with the 3 big divisional favorites.
Yeah, the Chiefs and then the Cowboys too. I mean, the Cowboys looked like they were playing with their heads on fire last night. They looked like they were prime and ready for the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, I'm not sure that they're going to make it that far, but they played like they wanted to be in the Super Bowl.
I'll be honest with you, Megan. I turned it off after the first quarter. My under was so dead in the water. I was like, well, it's time for Yellowstone, maybe a little Dexter. Anything is better than watching this dumpster fire.
I have Dexter's been great. I have to catch up. I still have like 2 episodes of the new season. I'm rewatching the old season while simultaneously watching the new season, and it's actually great because I missed a lot of stuff the first time around. But we have a game tonight. We got Saints, and you got the Dolphins. Saints are playing Ian Book. I wish we were just talking about this before we hopped on. And I the last couple weeks, I have no interest in the Saints or this game. Hopefully, I'm going to sit back and watch the Saints come out with an outright win at home. I'm praying for the Saints. What you got here, Kel?
I'm opening up the Barstool Sportsbook right now because I wanted to see if this did end up hitting 3.5. Because I kind of told myself that this was an interesting. It is 3.5 -114 at the Barstool Sportsbook. Total's 38, which is just ungodly low, right?
Stupid low.
Those low totals are low for a reason. Those high totals are high for a reason. The teams that were outgained last week end up being 63% on the season, on the last 48-28, 63% since 2015. And then also New Orleans, when any team scores less than 10 points, they're 53, 31, and 3. If anybody besides Ian Book was under center for the Saints, I would be all over the Saints. My problem is not with an Ian Book, with that I don't know what his competency level is, right?
Right.
So we've seen the line completely flip. We saw it open Dolphins +3. And at that point in time, I did kind of lean the Dolphins, right? Saints coming off that big divisional win. And this is a Dolphins team that's played much better as of late, but who have they really played? Who have they really shocked? No, nobody, in my opinion. So my biggest problem was trying to figure out if I really want to get involved in this game. In all of my pick 5 contests that I'm in, I use the Dolphins because of the stale line. Makes sense. I thought about getting to the window, and I told myself at 3.5, I might really consider backing the Saints tonight. I think I just have to stay away. Look, we've seen a couple of no-name quarterbacks this year, guys that we hadn't heard of since they were in college, all of a sudden get a start and play really well. And so I wouldn't be shocked to see Ian Book go out there where there's not a ton of tape on him. There's definitely no NFL tape on him. And the Saints defense kind of carry this team to a win. Could I see that happening? Sure. I think it's a no. I think it's a no.
Literally smells fishy.
Yeah, do you think it should be moving more? I mean, literally, it's Alvin Kamara, and that's it. That's the only people playing offense for the Saints tonight. They're missing a lineman. They're missing defensive guys.
Yeah, I don't. As I said, I'm hoping. I'm just gonna sit back, put my feet up. I'm gonna, take a load off and just hopefully enjoy. Hopefully, a good Saints win. I want to see a good Saints win. There's a couple people in mind that would like to see that as well. But that's, as you said, you don't really have a play on it. If you do, you'll tweet it out. I don't have a play personally. And if I end up, maybe I'll do one of our parlay pluses.
There you go.
Something up. That
always makes for fun times. Keep in mind, though, with this low total, I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to back like Tua overs, things like that. Keep in very good mind that those things are always correlated. And that terrifies me because especially against the Saints defense, I'd be looking to take a lot of the correlated under props tonight.
Kelly has the sharp side, her brain, but she will not have a play as of now. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let's move on to a little bowl action. We know that the world's fucked up and COVID is changing everything. We don't know who's playing where, what's playing, who's opted out, what coach is going where. It's essentially musical chairs right now in the college football world. But we do know we have a game with Auburn and Houston tomorrow. It's basically a pick'em over at the Barstool Sportsbook. And I would say that I would have to question Auburn's their motivation, right? I don't think they were really looking forward to playing Houston. Meanwhile, Houston, they get to play a big SEC opponent in Auburn. And, I know Auburn, won't have Bo Nix. I don't really trust Finley. Got a lot of situational issues with opt-outs. And if I really had to do anything, I'd have to lean Houston here. Obviously, Auburn's going to have a little bit of home field advantage being the Birmingham Bowl. But no play as of now. Definitely lean Houston, though. I like the underdogs. And these, as we saw with Florida and UCF, the little brother came up and just spanked the shit, essentially. Not really little brother, but you get what I'm saying, on the same brand. And I'm not saying Houston's little brother, but it's definitely not an SEC school opponent. And I think they have a lot more motivation in this game. I lean Houston. What do you like, Kel?
I lean Houston as well, but I think we're a little late to the party. We knew Bo Nix was transferring. As you mentioned, TJ Finley, I make him a 2-point drop-off. That's basically what we've seen the line move since then. You've got Auburn, who just needs to have something positive, right, to carry on to next season. But I just don't think they have the firepower to be able to go toe-to-toe with Houston, right? You got the flip side. You got Houston. They haven't won a bowl game since 2015. They look really sexy because they're 11-2 on the season. This is a pick 'em because it's a pick 'em type game. I think this is an absolute coin flip. I'm going to pass on this one just because I think it's going to be a great game. And I know that something crazy is going to happen at the end here, and I'm going to be on the wrong side of it.
I will say, speaking of which, I lean Houston also on that note because Auburn is without their kicker. So I feel like if, it comes down to a 3-point game, well, guess what? We don't have our first round leg, if you will, for Auburn, and that's going to end up being a problem. So I lean Houston, so does Kelly, but as she said, and I would agree, we are late to the party with it being a pick'em. Up next is one that Kelly and I have kind of agreed on, joined forces, if you will. We have Louisville and Houston, and Air Force. I'm sorry, I almost said Houston again. And I lean Air Force. Air Force does something well, and that is run. They can also throw. They're a little versatile, and then they got a good defense. I know that this is a team that won't quit. This is a team that doesn't care what's happening around them. Kel, what you think?
Yeah, Megan, you nailed it. Look, when you have these academy type teams, we know that they're really well disciplined, right? We said the same thing about Army. And Army got the win, though they didn't get the cover because of the crazy line move, right? But I think this one's been rather interesting. We've kind of just seen it hover around the 1.5 all week. I did take the 1.5 with Air Force. This is a Louisville team that I don't think kind of lived up to their hype. We saw some moments of greatness from them. But I think as of right now, Air Force catching 1.5 looks so damn disrespectful. I couldn't believe it. I bet this one a couple of weeks ago. This is going to be a really great, hard-fought game, as you mentioned. Air Force is going to run the ball down Louisville's throat. And we'll see, because Louisville can run the ball as well. They just give up a lot more rushing yards on the other side. On the flip side, we know that Louisville can air out those long bombs. So as long as Air Force's defensive backs can keep that at bay, I think Air Force wins this one easy.
And just to throw this out there, y'all, Kelly and I will have a money shots parlay cooked up with these bowl games, and that Air Force game will be included. This is a money line parlay, and we've kind of been working on this for a couple of days. I think it could be a winner here. Up next, we got Texas Tech, Mississippi State. You got Mississippi State laying 10. This is the Liberty Bowl. Probably will. I would say you'll probably have more Mississippi State fans here. But you got Mike Leach facing his old school, most winning coach in Texas Tech history, and now he has a Mississippi State team. Look, Texas Tech is like in shambles. They got a whole bunch of shit wrong with them. They got people and places everywhere. I hate to lay 10 here, but if I had to, it's either I'm laying the 10 with Mississippi State or I'm going to pass. What do you think here, Kel?
It's the Liberty Bowl. Who's excited to be here and who's not? I can tell you this right now. I don't think Mississippi State, as much as I love Mike Leach, is excited to be in the Liberty Bowl. On the flip side, you got a really, like you said, not great Texas Tech team, okay? This team ended up 6-6 on the season, barely got to go to a bowl game, and now they're basically a double-digit underdog here. I don't want to back Texas Tech necessarily, but there's no way I'm laying the double digits here with Mississippi State. I think that Texas Tech hitting this pinnacle, if you will, to get to go to a bowl game. They've basically been pretty terrible since Cliff left, right? They haven't won a bowl game since 2013. That last game versus Baylor showed me a lot about this team, right? And that was that they were going to keep pushing and keep trying to attain that goal. Now, they didn't beat Baylor, but they definitely covered the spread here. I think if they can keep Mississippi State's offense at bay, this game's going to be a lot closer than the spread suggests. That's if they can. Now, they were able to do it against a couple of teams this year, but Mississippi State's getting a little too much love here for a team that I understand they can control the time of possession. They can limit their number of passing plays. But I think that also dictates towards taking the points with Tech, just because I don't see Mississippi State running this one up. Could be dead wrong. I'm not going to be betting it, most likely. But we'll see. Maybe tomorrow I'll get a wild hair up my ass and I'll tweet it out if I get on board. But I definitely lean Texas Tech here.
All right, so we are in two separate directions there. Kelly is leaning the dog in the points, and I'm thinking that Mike Leach wants to go out there and make everyone walk the plank from Texas Tech. Up next, we have NC State, UCLA. And fun fact, this is another one that will be going in our parlay. And if y'all want to guess the side, it's NC State. UCLA has been terrible defending the pass this season. They have not played well against good competition. NC State has been a solid team, and they have won 7 out of their last 8 games. They're hot right now. They want to play this bowl game. I like them laying, I think it's the 2.5 still at Barstool Sports. The 2 at Barstool Sports, and they're in our money line parlay along with Air Force, and then we'll get to the third here in a second.
Yeah, I laid -120 a couple of weeks ago, Megan, with NC State when the line was 1. This was a play against UCLA. I didn't understand all the love. I understand what UCLA does well, but they do that well in the Pac-12, right? They put up a ton of points, and their quarterback looks pretty good, right? He can throw, he can run, he can do it all. I don't think this is going to be a shootout, though, and I could be very wrong. It could end up that way because UCLA has that horrific pass defense, but I just see NC State being able to control both sides of the ball here. I see this being like a 31-21 NC State type of win where UCLA really does get stifled offensively. This is a Wolfpack team who has such a good defense, right? And I think here, normally, I would be like, hey, take the better defense plus the points. We have to lay a little chalk here, but I think that's okay. I think this is going to be one of those games where everybody's all over UCLA. We take the favorite here, and the favorite just cruises.
I'm hoping that is all that we get there. So need an Air Force to have a big game. NC State. Next one we're talking about, not in our parlay, but it's West Virginia and Minnesota. And that is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Yay, what a fun name. I'm going to go ahead and lean the Gophers here. I think they're laying, last time I looked, it was 5. Maybe I can get back and see where I was at.
Yeah, I think the current line's 5.
They're laying 5. I don't have a play on this right now, but it just seems like Minnesota is the type to have the motivation to play further into the season. You have, I believe Kai Thomas is his name, should run all over that Mountaineers defense. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game by any means, but I think it's one that Minnesota pulls out and covers. No official play, but I lean the Gophers in this one.
That's a really good comment, Megan. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game either. I think this is going to be like a 21-17. Either team could actually win. And in that case, I should be looking to take West Virginia here. But I just don't see this West Virginia team playing hard. We haven't seen a lot of grit from this team. And on the flip side, we all know how well coached or how much I like PJ Fleck, the Gophers. We know they have a great defense. They can stop the run. They can stop the pass. They stop them in the red zone. Their offense, though, is a little shaky, and that's what makes it hard for me to want to lay points with this team. I'm going to pass as well, but you're right. I could see something like a late touchdown by Minnesota to seal the deal and to get the cover, but I will not be touching this one. This is looks like a snooze fest, if you will.
Yeah, I just looking at that game, I was like, well, this is probably the most unintrigued out of all of these games. And I mean, that includes the one that's on right now or the one that's finishing right now. I just had no care in the world. Sorry, PJ. I did 2 years ago whenever we were really rowing the boat, but you've lost me there, my friend. Moving on, we have Maryland, Virginia Tech. The Hokies have a ton of question marks regarding their program right now. And when I say a ton, I mean a ton. And right now, I do not have an official bet, but I would definitely lean Maryland. At least they have a quarterback who they know and knows the system. I mean, you have Braxton Burmeister out. You have 2 wide receivers out. You have a defensive end. You have a defensive tackle. You have a guard. You have literally anybody that you can think of for the Hokies has decided, you know what, transfer portal, NFL, whatever, jerk off at home, doesn't matter. Like, they're deciding not to go. And, you know, the Terps, man, slow and steady wins the race. Might end up pulling the trigger here on the Terps. But as of right now, I do not have an official play. What are you thinking, Kel?
I'm just happy this one didn't get canceled. Everything up in the Northeast keeps getting canned. So at least we have something to watch on Wednesday morning, right? I did take Maryland +1, and this is where I feel guilty because sometimes I get some really good information that I'm not allowed to share, right? Sometimes it's like, oh, go ahead, you're allowed to share it. And other times they're like, don't you dare share this. So I played Maryland +1 a couple of weeks ago, and long story short, by the time I wanted to give it out to everybody else, there was Maryland -2.5. Everybody else gets word, now it's Maryland -3.5. I don't think I can touch the Hokies here, even catching points. If we learned anything about my disastrous wannabe middle this morning, 13 points. Thought I was so fucking smart. But anyway, that being said, I'm going to keep my Maryland +1 and just hope that it somehow cashes. You're right. There's a lot of issues here with this Hokies team. And I do think that this is something for Maryland to build on. This is a Maryland team that I wasn't high on going into the year. Virginia Tech, I also think I was a little higher on, and that's part of their problem, is that when you are higher on certain teams and then they regress going into bowl season, you tend to overthink maybe, well, if I was high on them, everybody else was high on them, this was like a down season for them. This is a Maryland team that I expected to win 6 games. They win 6 games. They go out there, win their bowl game. They have something to build on for next year. Virginia Tech, obviously, interim head coach, lots of drama going on. I think it's just a stay away at this point.
All right, last but not least, the game that we're going to talk about. And by the way, guys, as far as in the comments, Arizona Bowl is still on. You see this hat on my head? It's still on. We're still going. My plane is still booked. My ticket is there. My hotel my bed is ready. We'll be there. Hopefully, y'all will be there too, because we're gonna have a great time. Whether it be the dozen, whether it be the golf tournament, whether it be the putt punk show, it's gonna be an absolutely amazing time. And I hope that you're all there, and that we can all have fun together.
And worst case, just stream it from home, and you guys can watch me and Megan live on Instagram or Twitter Spaces, making complete asses out of ourselves. I cannot hardly wait.
Can't hardly wait either. Wrapping it up with the delicious Cheez-It Bowl. We all know that the reduced fat ones are better. That is one thing that I will agree with Dave.
What?
They're less greasy. They're a little bit more toasty. Usually I don't agree with Dave on much, but I do agree on his taste buds. They seem to be working pretty well between the pizzas and the reduced fat Cheez-Its. Also the cookies. I haven't tried a lot of the cookies, but a lot of the cookies he does. They look pretty delicious. Anyway, Iowa State and Clemson. You got Brock Purdy, the guy that was supposed to possibly win a national title this year. The buzz was just absolutely enormous. And then you have Clemson, a team that, I faded pretty much all year long. But I'm not going to lie. I like Clemson here, and you do too. And they're the third leg of our money line parlay for money shots this week. I'm not buying into any of the Iowa State hype, and they also believe they're down their best running back. So they're going to have a pretty one-dimensional route at going at this Clemson defense, which will cause them some issues. Clemson's D is going to come in huge here. I believe that they're going to eat Brock Purdy alive. I honestly do. I know that they have a big front line too, but I like Clemson. You like them, but you have a better explanation and reasoning. So
not really, Megan. Honestly, I remember my first day at Barstool. Pick Central guy said, "Stay another day." I gave out the Bucks money line. They come up to me. They were like, "Hey, stay another day. Come on, Pick Central in the morning. Change your flight." I said, "Oh, I can do that." And we sit there, and the very first thing I said, I remember, was Mincy gave out Iowa State over 9.5 wins, and I go, "So anyway, I'm going to be a complete utter jackass. I'm going to take the under." And everybody's like, "Wait, what?" And I go, "Pump the brakes on Iowa State. Everybody." That's the biggest problem here is, yes, we all expect Clemson to be back in the mix, but this is the Iowa State team that fell short by 2.5 wins. Clemson still won 9 games. Sure, they were 4-8 against the spread, but they still won 9 games. This Clemson team is far more talented. This Clemson team is bigger, faster, stronger than Iowa State.
Way deeper.
I do know that obviously Brent Venables is going to be gone. That does not help our case. But at +1.5, I made this game 3. I said, you know what? We just need Clemson to win it. We were going to use a different team for our moneyline parlay, but their game got canceled. So I asked Megan, I said, "Do you like Clemson?" She said, "I do too." I said, "All right, we're going to ride with Clemson as our third leg."
So for y'all that are keeping track or those that are not, let me keep you up to the status quo, up to date. We have a moneyline parlay of the Money Shots women, and it is Air Force money line. It is NC State money line, and it is Clemson money line. So I don't actually know what that pays because I closed all my apps out like a dumbass. But
I can tell you what it pays while you're talking.
Mincy's eyes must have been crossed when you made those picks. A lot of people are a lot of good comments today. I'm not gonna do the gritty. I'll throw those up. I'm not gonna dance for y'all unless you feel like paying me.
Pay 6-1. Hopefully they give us a little juice boost. And
I think so. I think they should give us a little juice boost, a little bowl boost. You hear
Right.
that, Jack? A little bowl boost. Everyone in the comments yell at Jack and tell him that you want a bowl boost. And then he'll yell at somebody else because it's actually not up to Jack. but
Jack's the fucking best.
He's the best. So yeah, that's, as we said, Kelly and I don't have a play on tonight's football game, but if you would like to have some fun, we have a parlay plus option, obviously, where you can go and do a correlated parlay with the games tonight. We have a flight to catch on Thursday. I have to be up at 3. It's going to be like a 24-hour day for me. So if you see me with bags under my eyes.
Wow. Is that hard for you to get to Tucson?
Well, I have some complications right now. So as far
Yeah.
as the childcare thing, the childcare is like 3 hours away. So I was going to fly out of New Orleans instead of Lafayette. But now it's just all, well, it's just.
It's going to be a long day for me too. I got to be at the airport at 7, and I already was thinking about like, okay, what time is it socially acceptable to start drinking? Megan and I check in around the same time. We're going to try to do a show. Do you guys want us to do an IG live? Talk to us. Let us know what you guys want to do, and we'll go from there. I think it'll be a great time. And apologies in advance for my behavior.
Same. I have a lot of bad behavior to get out. It's New Year's Eve. We got a new pair of jeans to break in.
What? Let's go.
Just the little things around the holidays that make.
I haven't even packed an outfit, nothing yet. I hope they bring a lot of Arizona Barstool swag because that was what I was planning on wearing.
It's gonna be chilly too. I don't know if you saw the weather. It's looking like it's gonna be kind of cloudy and in the low 60s.
Football weather. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, football weather. Hey, by the way, I throwing this at the comments. I saw that snow in Seattle, and I said that's bear weather. So I threw out that bear. Didn't throw it out to y'all, but I took
bear
it personally.
Weather.
That Bears money line, bear down. So anyway, well, hopefully if y'all are not going to be in Arizona, hopefully y'all will be streaming it. And if you don't stream it, then you're fake as fuck and you're not a stoolie and you don't like Kelly and I and you hate Jack and you hate everything.
You hate Jack. Yeah, right. The comments are like all Jack right now. The whole thing in comments is just how much everybody loves Jack.
Well, they should. He's the best. And he will be in Arizona too. So if you love Jack, if you love us, stream the Arizona Bowl. Make sure you catch our 5 minutes on there giving out our picks because we will have picks for y'all during the live show. So don't miss out. And yeah, this is our money shots this week until we see y'all Pacific time.